Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is... Shit, what is today? Today's Tuesday, June 9th. Thought for a second today was Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great start to the morning. Looking forward to the markets here. I'd say price action from overnight to this morning has been it's been pretty tame. Very balanced price action. Very balanced price action this whole way through. They've pretty much any impulsive move we had, we kind of had a pretty deep retracement into most of these unbalanced volume areas. I was interested here. This is an area where we're most likely going to see some type of reaction. My only concern is that this long wick over here did balance out a lot of volume. So even though we can get a reaction from our base, I don't think that we're going to have, I don't think it's going to be just like a huge pivot back to the upside from this area here. ATR is currently sitting at about 14. We are coming up to one of our key levels here on the NQ at the 29,743. And if we go lower, we've got some unbalanced volume between the 29,553 and the 517. This is buyer controlled volume. Not an area that I'm able to find wasn't able to find the signal here, nor really a good real trading opportunity. You know, something out of here would have to probably be on the 60 range, on the 60 range footprint. And very similar down below. Again, we got another key level here at the 29,435. Another piece of buyer unbalanced volume. It's in Discord. Gave you guys all of these levels, but again, having a hard time finding something to really narrow down my scalp on a 30 range footprint. And then, not sure why these bubbles are here like that. That doesn't make me feel good. Let's reload this. Let's see if they go away. Well, while we wait, we've got obviously some buyer unbalanced volume here. Obviously, I do like this area. I've got a signal here at the 29,234, and this to me down here as well is A plus. Pretty much from the 29,206 to the 29,175. Where I'd like to refine it is going to be right here at the 29,196 to the 175. On the ES, we've got a key level above us at the 74.76. We've got another key level at the 74.12. And then we've got our buyer unbalanced volume sitting between the 73.78 and the 73.55, with key levels at the 73.68 and the 73.55. A lot of volume over here, guys. This is definitely one where we could see reaction here, or the sweep and go down here on the ES. And then I've got a piece of seller unbalanced volume sitting right here at the 75.32 to the 75.12. As far as gold, we've got a seller band here at the 70 43.94 to the 43.87. And then below us, we've got another band here at the 43.27 to the 43.21. This is all buyers down here in gold. We've got high impact news here coming up in about 20 minutes. U.S. trade balance at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. We've got U.S. existing home sales at 9 a.m., 30 minutes after market open. And that's about it on the docket for today. Tomorrow we've got CPI numbers that I think are going to move the markets at 7:30 in the morning. We've got oil inventory report at 9:30. And then on Thursday, we've got U.S. initial jobless claims, PPI numbers. And then Friday, we've got University of Michigan sentiment. And SpaceX IPO. Morning, J-Loves. Paul, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Rob, Keith, good morning. I got this feeling in my gut today that market's going to make us wait for a setup. I don't see, not seeing super clean impulsive moves yet. English, good morning. Kind of a mixed bag of trading yesterday. Ended up taking early loss. No, I'm sorry, an early break even on my signal. Then I took a loss. I think it was down about 1900, and then took a nice win for about 43 points to bring my overall day up. I don't know, 1900 or 1800. English, I trade. Well, I get started preparing for my charts at realistically right around 5:30 in the morning. So about 3 hours before the market open. And I started actively looking for trades pretty much 7 a.m. by the time that I go live. And I will typically, my usual cutoff right now is about 11 a.m. Central Time, so an hour before noon. And then for the rest of the day, unless, you know, there's a signal that I have, or if I'm, you know, if I see a great setup, but very rarely. I would say 95% of all my trades are within the first 2.5 hours of the market open. And I've talked about the Globex session a little after hours. It's you know, the movements have been pretty good. For one reason or the other, I really don't know. Maybe from battle wounds from previous years, but even though I see the setups continuously working, I don't feel like I've got a lot of confidence in the overnight session. And again, I don't really trade it actively, so I can't. It's hard for me to explain why I have this feeling in me, but and another thing too is that, you know, at least I am a volume-based trader. So I think a lot of your, maybe it's a broad statement. It's a broad statement where there's obviously volume in the overnight session, but it's nowhere near the volume that you're going to get in the regular session. But at the same time, you know, we're trying to find these impulsive moves, the break of structure, a retracement back into a high, an unbalanced volume area. And when one contract on the NQ is moving the markets overnight, it's, I don't know, maybe it's just deep in the back of my mind, the reason why I shouldn't be trading it. But not to say that you can't. I mean, you obviously can. In fact, I think the majority of the YouTube traders now have a evening live stream as well. Which, kudos to them. I mean, that takes a lot of mental energy. I also think for some of them, it's more about, you know, it's more about the exposure to the viewers that are watching the stream. You obviously are in a time slot that you've got much less competition between other YouTubers. Not like I care about, you know, you guys can go watch whoever you guys want to watch or go wherever you guys want to go. But I think that's a kind of a driving force. I think if you were to ask them all individually if you prefer trading it an overnight session, I think the majority of them are going to say no. Majority, it's not everyone. I mean, I know there's a lot of overnight traders, Globex traders London, Asia. That might be the only time that they have to trade. And then, you know, there's another side of the coin, which is kind of, you know, the argument to my statement is that the New York Open obviously has the most volatility and is the most liquid market. And with that liquidity and with that volatility comes, you know, sometimes some very peculiar price action. So, you know, if you need to slow it down, if you need to slow the charts down, you know, you got to be in a lower ATR zone, like what we're kind of currently in right now at 14. Price action's slower. So if that's what you're looking for, you know, the afternoon session, lunch session, that could slow it down just a tad. And that might be a good thing for some traders. I mean, I guess if you've got an A+ setup, I'd rather know if my A+ setup works out within the minute than if my A+ setup's going to work within 15 minutes. There's a whole lot of thing that goes in between the brain, between the head, in 15 minutes. In a minute, and typically most of our NQ trades are over before you can really let your brain screw it up that bad. Still possible. Still very possible, but I have shown you that is very possible. Let's see what we're looking at on the weekly. So on the weekly, we've got some unbalanced volume here on the NQ at the 29,874 down to the 29,802. On the ES, we've got this tradable level at the 74.99. Got another one sitting here at the 75.58. And then we've got obviously this weekly band sitting up here at the 75.78 to the 75.45. So all these come from my video on Sunday. And then daily levels, daily bands. We've got the closest one on the ES is down here at the 73.78. We already talked about that one early this morning, and we should have one sitting above us, or actually a few sitting above us, but the 75.32 to the 75.12. These are a lot of that Friday move to the downside here. About 7 more minutes to news. And again, some targets for news. Kind of bring this down here. You know, this is the way I look at the market. We've got obviously liquidity sitting up here that we could tap into at this key level at the 29,743. And then we've got this piece of buyer unbalanced volume sitting down here, pretty much from like the 60s to the 20s. So these both can be targets for the market to come and attack. English, I had to come back because that's a good question. We were talking about that last night. So my wife, she trades primarily from lunch to about 2 p.m. So she's trading at a time where I am not. And she ended up taking a trade last night at about, right about, maybe about 20 minutes after the market opened. So around 5:30. And she made, I think yesterday she made $800. And then she was having some issues with setting up an ATM on Trade-8. And I primarily just use NinjaTrader. So I set up an ATM for her. And then I remembered the issue of, and again, excuse my stupidity here, but I thought that in Trade-8 there was an issue with the bracket orders that if it hits your stop or it hits your TP, the other bracket doesn't cancel out. But I believe it's just on, I don't believe, well, I don't, not 100% sure, but I'm like 99.9% sure that that's only on a single funded account, which is what she's using. It will cancel out the other. But when you're in a trade group, multiple group, which she's not, that's the issue then, that one of the orders stays on there, right? It's not an OCO order where it'll cancel out your TP and that does screw people over. So she's like, well, let me just try it. Let me just try it out on a micro on the NQ. So she just took a blind. I think she took a blind long. And of course, the market like reversed right on her at that time. And I think she ended up taking like a $40 loser, but it did hit the stop. The TP went away, so I believe that's all set up right. But if you guys want to confirm, it's when you're trade copying in Trade-8, right, that one of the brackets is not an OCO, so it does not cancel out. I haven't used Trade-8 in a very long time. Nor have I really ever copy traded off of Trade-8. I've always used NinjaTrader and Replicanto. And I will state one other thing. She did take a loss during the regular session yesterday. She took, I think, a $1,200 loss, which I didn't tell her, but I believe, because she never really trades after hours. So I believe that was just mainly more of a revenge trade. The 800 that she made, because it's time that she really never trades. But I let her do her thing. Yeah, NinjaTrader acquired Trade-8 a couple years ago. But, you know, the Trade-8 version is, well, they do have a platform that you can do desktop, which is terrible, but it's mainly a web-based platform that I know majority of the prop firms use it. I've just never traded on. I've always traded on just NinjaTrader. Maybe when I've been on vacation, like outside of our place in Florida, maybe sometimes I'll take a look at, maybe I've used Trade-8 in those instances, but when you're trade copying, I don't know, I just always heard that there was just an issue with that, where people will leave that resting like either a TP So a limit sell. It keeps it there, even if your stop gets hit. So if you come up there, then you get into a short. I think that's only on the trade copier. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. All right. Let's see if this news, let's see how the news did come out. U.S. trade balance, 55.9 billion, forecasted 56. Okay. Gotta say, those numbers are looking pretty good. Morning, Steve. Those numbers are looking pretty good. Nice little decent move here off of news. So I'm not going to be too interested in this base right here, but most likely we take out this liquidity here at the 29,743. That was some pretty good news though on trade balance there. Which kind of reemphasizes the news that we had on imports. What was it? Durable goods or something like that. They came out pretty good. Well, let's see here if we do take out this high of yesterday at the 743. So as of right now, they just pretty much just took out this pivot up here. We had some good amount of stops right there. Once we broke this little pivot down here, we had another higher high right here. So I'm sure they had some liquidity in the zone right here. Now let's see if they want to grab this right here. And again, you want to be a little careful in not marrying yourself to this right here. This always usually looks pretty beautiful on news, but the bases typically don't hold up very well. Give me 1 second, guys. What's your backstory, trading experience? Just curious. Thanks. English. I've been trading since probably 2020, 2021. My brother-in-law who trades, he's a day trader in equities, is the one that originally got me into it. He just trades equities, like I said. He's never dabbled into the futures, even though I'm trying to get him over. He was the one that primarily got me into it. I kind of went a different path into futures, but I pretty much mentored me for, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 months. I would go to his house every morning, just kind of watch him trade. He's a big bookmap trader. I never understood bookmap at that point. I thought it was more confusing than anything. And I just got into like discretionary trading, pretty much terrible trading. Was strategy hopping every single week. Very unprofitable. And then maybe a couple years after that, I then figured out more of a mechanical approach to trading. And I think that was the real turning point for profitability. I was always cash account. I didn't start trading prop on Top Step until probably 2024-ish. And then I pretty much started with just my basic levels, which I map out every morning for people. My 5-minute level, which is sitting right here. My 15-minute level, which let's just see if we can find one right here. There's a 15-minute level on the NQ. And it was a pretty simple, what I saw constantly working was impulsive move, break of structure. So this move, a break of structure, and then I would want to look for something in this area right here, which at the time I didn't really call it or consider it to be unbalanced volume. But the one thing that I early on adapted, which I think helped me tremendously, is I would like to see strong candles with very little wicks coming back into these areas. My theory on the market, especially for it to break structure, meaning for it to break this level up here, I don't want to see it do this and break structure. I want to see the move break structure like that. My feeling is that if market needs to wick back down into an area, it's not strong enough to break this unbalanced volume to the downside, okay? Because for it to create a pivot down, there was obviously some force in the market to do that. And I would consider this to be unbalanced volume. And if you've got an impulsive move that breaks that, then this origination down here is where the unbalanced volume should also be sitting. So my theory was, all right, if we come back down, we tap into this level, we should be able to get a reaction from it. And my strategy that I came up with was to put the line where like for instance in this scenario when we're going to the upside, put it at the lowest possible area where both bodies intersect, and which is right where I've got my line right here, because if you move this line up here, then you're not at the lowest point of this body. If you move it down here, then you're not in any of these two bodies, so it's got to be right there. And then you know, as I traded the strategy, I then added volume profile to the mix, and I then started seeing where in the volume profile my levels were reacting the best. And then at the same time, I had paid for a bookmap subscription for about a year prior to me starting to use it. I always had it up on my charts, but never really could find a good use for it. And then these levels that I came up with, I then started getting confirmation on level 2. Okay, there's resting limit orders where I think that the unbalanced volume's sitting at. That seems like a great spot for me to take a look at a trade. And then started incorporating the bookmap. Lastly, the last piece of the puzzle was the footprint chart, which I think for me was the real true game changer. The footprint just gives you an added visual and volume indicator for me that the candlesticks can't do. Now, candlesticks also have their purpose. They have their purpose even on how I trade my strategy. For me, I can get very lost very quickly, even though I could see price action very easy with the footprint. I also can get lost in this chart very easily. So I like to see context on the candles, because that will kind of keep me, saying, okay, well, yeah, we did break structure right here. We did break structure right here, and not get just solely stuck on the footprint chart. And that's kind of where I'm at today. And my son trades I don't want to say exactly like me, but very, 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 very similar, but a lot more basic. He trades in Trade of 8, so he's a little limited as to what he can, some of the tools that he has. But his main strategy is the basic AVT setup minus the volume profile. So he's just looking for unbalanced volume. Like if he drops down to like the 60, he would be looking for a trade in this area right here. This is the area that he would expect like a bounce back up. He's usually on the lower time frame. I believe he's using the 30 range. And that's it. He would be expecting a bounce back here, which I kind of would be too. This is not a bad area, minus the fact that that was news based, so I don't put a lot of weight on it, but you can already see that you're getting a reaction here off the unbalanced nature here. So if I would to switch down to a 30 range, don't see any, I wouldn't have gotten any confirmation to go long here just yet. But again, this was all news. So we already talked about that this is not an area that I would want to take a reaction from. In fact, I'd probably be a little bit happier if they were just to balance this out and be done with it. Morning, Joe. Morning, Holy Earth. Morning, William. Oops, pressed the wrong button there. So let's see here. This looks all pretty junky. It's got balanced out right here. I think that's that wick that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, pretty balanced price action, I would say, from overnight to this morning. And now I think we just probably take a... Oops, that was a bad line. I think we take out this low here now. Right here. That would be a pretty good auction theory. Well, definitely a lot more tamer of a morning for price action. ATR is hovering around 15. Morning, Adam. Strange that we're not, we haven't swiped that yet. 743s. Let's see if I'm proven wrong. Typically when I see this right before a major area of liquidity, it's not necessarily just a tap and sweep. This is usually one where we see more impulse to the upside. We'll see if that theory plays out here or not. Ooh, it's a good short right there. If you get a flip right there. Ooh-wee. Let's see. All right. We should just go instead of reverse. Here we reverse. Morning, FTDK. This does look like a very good short candidate right to this area right here. Just don't really have anything unbalanced up there. Nice flip. Buyer's trapped. Unbalanced volume sitting right here. This had all the recipes for a really nice short setup. So we swept this key level. We got our flip with a lot of positive delta, red footprint, trap buyers sitting right here, unbalanced volume sitting right here at 29,690. This is actually a pretty good short setup. It was. Yeah, you don't get much better setups with pretty slow price action than this. It's a pretty good high probability trade. 120 flipped as well. Oh, missed a good one there. This probably would have been. Let's just see where this exactly is at. Yeah, it would have been a good one right there. Hey, Ducker. Yeah. I don't know. Anything's possible. 30,000 or 29,000. All right, 13 minutes for the market open. And we just bounced again from unbalanced volume right here. Morning, AP. All right, 5 minutes to market open here. So only other news for this morning is U.S. existing home sales at 9 a.m., 30 minutes after market open. refill my coffee real quick. See what the market wants to do today. Really balanced out to the upside too. So both of these areas here are so far buyer controlled unbalanced volume. I would just be curious. It's not tradable for me yet, but this could be some good indication of who's really going to be in power here early on. Kind of a tame open so far. Let's see if we can break through here with some conviction here or not. All right, ES left a pocket now. I want to see it break it. I want to see it break this high first here. Break this prior day high up here at the 74.76. Before we start looking at that. Morning, chum sauce. I don't think the market knows what it wants to do yet, at all. Morning, Todd. Let's see if the ES can break here on this prior day high. NQ already rejected off of it, so now let's see how the ES reacts there. All right, NQ broke through. Let's take a look at this little spot right here. Oops. Let's go back to the 120. Let's see what the candles are telling us here. Yes, right about to hit into its prior day high here. Okay, strong price action now here from bulls. That was a good one, Grant. I will say this is the first good, decent move from pretty much since the regular session yesterday. So now they've left some decent unbalanced volume. Let's see if we can formulate a plan here. Let's get rid of this guy. All right, let's slow down just a tad. I got nothing above us either. We might have a weekly level that we might have tapped into. Let's see. Nothing on the daily. Yeah, there's a big gap there on the daily. And then I think it was on the weekly that we had the NQ. Okay, well, we are going into a weekly band right here. So this should hold us up here. I should say hold us down. There should be not so easy for it to get through here. I'd like to see at least a little retracement here. big move. Big move. ES broke through. I think this thing, maybe I gotta... that's about right. Kind of hard to short blindly up here. It's doing a good job of let me take a look at the ES here. Grant, you're kind of in a weird spot here just because you've got a lot of buying strength right here, obviously, and sellers just stepped in to defend this, well, where the unbalanced volume at. I was going to say they stepped in to defend this weekly band, but yeah, I mean, I would be looking at least for 2 to 1 on these weekly bands at a minimum. At least 150 points, somewhere in that vicinity. And the question is, do we get the bounce here? ETR's at about 36, so I do like that. Again, if they break down below here, you know, then obviously we could then start looking for some unbalanced volume sitting right back up here in that weekly band, which I don't necessarily know that they're going to probably retest there, but it could be a possibility. Ideally, if I can get the flip in the purple, it would be my best. Entry. We do got U.S. existing home sales at 9 a.m., which is in about 2 minutes. This one was a pretty good entry right here. All right, I'm gonna take a. Ooh, it's kind of a weird entry there. I got stopped out on that one. Did get the flip that I was looking for though, right there. 46 negative delta green footprint. All right, so it looks like the sellers right now are definitely more in control here. No problemo. Now let's see what else we can find here. This guy, let's get rid of this guy. Well, price action's on the move. I'm not really a fan of this one. Let's see what else we got here. This guy looks better to me right here. Charts are super lagging right now. Wasn't a fan of this area. Let's just make sure that there's nothing else here. There's a pocket right there. I don't know if we're gonna retrace that. Let's see. Chart's got super laggy. Well, Chump Sauce, I would say you're in the money big time, buddy. I don't know where your entry was, but let's just say from down here, that's already 180 points. I told you at least 150 points you gotta go for. Oh, you said he's out. All right. How much did you take? How many points did you take on that one? Got to be a little cautious here because again we've got buyer controlled areas here, not super strong. These are definitely not super strong. That's why I don't have any trading opportunity from there. 100 points. Nice. Good job, man. There was a stop on there. Oh, 10 points. Fuck. There's a lot of slippage on that. Actually, no, there wasn't. My ATM was at 10. So I like to adjust that based on my entry. I really didn't have any time on that one. So it took about an hour loss there. For sure. I'm not. I got many bullets left in the chamber. Finally, with gold. Look at that. Finally. Gold respecting a band. Good job, Gold. Let's see if I think I gave that to everybody this morning in Discord. Oh, I did not. Oh, no, that's not the right one. This one. Gold. Yes, I did. Would have been nice for it to tap into that level, but beggars can't be choosers. All right, I'd like to see them get through this band right here. Again, this was controlled by buyers, but it was pretty weak, which is why I didn't have it leveled mapped out on it or not. And then we're going to look at this unbalanced move right here. See them get through there. Nice. Okay. So now, very easy. We spot this guy right here. Only a little small worries that we got a little unbalanced volume sitting up there. That's a big flip. And they might want to fucking touch into that too, don't they? Let's see here. Let's go to the 60. You know, 60 looks beautiful too. So we got that one ready. Let's see if they can get through there. Shorten this guy up a little bit. Looks like they are cooking here. Let's see if we can at least capitalize on one of these guys here. This one's not great. Not great. Not super great here. I like this retracement a little better. Would like to capitalize on at least some of this downward pressure here. And we've got this key level coming up right here, so I got to be really careful with that as well. And that's where they're going to probably want to attack. Or could we just do it as like a little bounce like that? I mean, that would be a great little play there. 51 on the ATR. Just don't know if they're going to give that to us right now. Okay, this is left unbalanced right here. So if we do dip, if we do get a retracement, God, I really was hoping that retracement would come prior to this key level. Can't get in. Can't find a decent entry here for short. These are the moves that are hard as a volume-based trader. I mean, you're really just trying to find any which way to get involved here, and I'm not doing a really good job of it. We just tapped into buying unbalanced volume here, so I was thinking of maybe if I look for a retest of this key level here, but I'm gonna take a little pause here, guys. I got some FOMO going on. Try to stay patient here, see if we can get maybe a retracement to right here. This band held up pretty well. So maybe the buyers did get a footprint here now. There. Okay, so buyers are looking pretty strong right now. They at least got a decent footprint there into the market. Now let's see, this is unbalanced here, so that would be like kind of my target. ETR is 55 currently.
Just a little longer. I will be
Buyers really haven't broken any structure here that's meaningful to me yet. But I guess we break up here, and they could be forming a new higher high. Sellers are trying their damnedest here. I was right about to take a short right there. God, it's not giving me a chance here. I was right about to take a short right there on that flip, and just retarget the unbalanced volume sitting in that band below us. Damn, Skippy. Damn, Skippy. I'm just going to target right here, the 63s. All right, do got a spot right here. Let's see how pretty or ugly this is here. I gotta look for that IB. Let's make sure that IB is gonna be right here, isn't it? Fudge. Come on. I got the IB ready here. ATR is pushing 60. Holy crap. It's definitely moving quick. I mean, my charts can barely keep up right now. I don't think there's a way I'm going to get an entry on the 30 right now here. Slow it down here a little bit. Wow. I got a feeling that I might have to market order into this market, which is going to cause me some crazy slippage here, but so play I'm looking at right now is obviously a bounce here off of the IB. We are in buyer unbalanced volume area. We did have a good amount of buyers step in right there. So that's my thought process right now. And then on the flip side, if we can get a footprint in this area to, I mean, you can target, this is the best unbalanced volume that we've got right now. And ATR is 60, so I mean, might as well risk an R to try to make 5 or 6 R on this trade if possible. we're moving 30 points in a matter of like 5 seconds here. I almost feel like I gotta get onto the 60. I don't like that risk profile, but not sure what else to do. Like, you gotta be fucking quick here. That was a flip. Alright, I'm gonna take a stab short there. And where am I sitting at? Right around there. Let's bring it down to the flip right there. 8 points of risk. And whoa. Oh, we almost had 40 points there. Alright, drop that at 40 points. Let's see if we can finish this off here. Ah! Bastard. That was weak. That was weak. Thought once we broke through there, I mean, I kind of figured this would be a decent... I don't know, it all happened so quick though. Like, again, this is all hindsight shit, but like, this is where I gotta be putting my stop loss, like right here. Just find another flip. I would have taken my 50-something points right there. But at least I capitalized on the short. 40 points, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not an ATR, but still for our... I think we had about, what, 8 points of risk on that trade? Maybe 9? So I'll take that 1 to 4. Yeah, I was surprised I was able to. I didn't market order into that. I hit the bid on that, and let's just see how close it was to the actual flip. This was the flip that I saw. Okay, right here. This was the flip that I saw, and it just tapped into the purple. It's exactly what I'm looking for. This purple area is like where I really like my detailed entries. There was the flip. Positive delta. My actual entry from the time that it took the order was maybe 3 points below, 4 points below. And again, on a market like today, not bad. And then my stop was actually sitting up here. So yeah, I could have swore I thought I had 8 points of... Oh no. So then I dropped, because originally my stop was 10 points. Because that's what my ATR is. It's 1040. And then what I did was I dropped my stop to this flip right here. Yeah, that's what I did. Which then equated to 8 points of risk. And still do like I still do like this IB low for a possible move back to the upside. I don't necessarily know I mean the ATR I know is sitting at 60, but let's just kind of see what they leave unbalanced up here. I got about 3 hours left to play with for today, so why not try capitalizing it? And the reason why I like this, even though we're in a pretty nutty market right now, this is all controlled here by buyers. It was a weak area for me, but they did hold up right there. So again, this is going to be a little nutty because we're going to try to do this on the 30. We'll see how it goes. Right there. Oh shit! Oh, that was. Ooh! It's just so fast. It was so fast. All right. Well, that saved me from there. To get the flip. I mean, I think for these kind of ATR days, I mean, I almost feel like you really got to be on the 60 range. It's tough. It's really, really freaking tough. Oh my god, and we got a signal coming up here. That's not a great spot for a signal. Shit doggers. Shit doggers. Alright, well, let's get her ready. I mean, a lot of fucking pressure here. Let's get that guy in there. Let's get that guy here. Super. Just not a lot of stop here, man. You know what? I gotta invalidate this. I can't. There's no good sign of doing that right here. Open trade signals, Nasdaq long entry, edit post. Watch, this is the one that's gonna work, but validating setup, update. Oh, wow, that was great timing. Oh, great timing. Oh man, there's just you can't be on a 70 ATR with a 7-point stop. As much as I really love this here too for a long, I can't. There's no way. You can't be long in anything right here right now. Even though, look at that little mover. All right, let me take a picture of this. I'm probably gonna get some slack on that one, but holy crap, Rolas. I did get the dump. Wow. All right, let me just, I gotta look and see where I'm at here now. Let's take a look at the weekly. NQ, this one we already went through it. Got the nice bounce, so we just entered. Did we get into this one yet? What day is this? Monday? Yeah, Monday we already went through this one. Yeah, so these two have already been tapped into, so I'm not putting any weight. This was fresh. And then down below it's a huge avalanche down here to the 27,796. That was that 3 weeks of just straight pumping up with the Iran headline news. All right, so I kind of have my bearings here. Let me look at the ES. Does the ES have anything approaching? No. Let's look at the daily. Okay, so now the NQ is going into a daily. I'm sorry, the ES is going into a daily. Let's see how that looks here. All right, so the ES just entered its daily. Their key level here at the 73. This is the one we were talking about in the morning. This is the one that I said would be very important. A lot of liquidity sitting here. I said we could either do this or we sweep and do that. All right, so we got the ES. Let me look at the NQ. Ooh. Oh, these got fucking butchered. Those got butchered. Ooh, man. Some crazy shit. Where am I up? Oh, okay, 24. Oh, I thought it was much less than that. 2,400, nice. And I think, and I also think that there was about 3 or 4. Sorry, I'm not talking into the mic. 3 or 4 PAs that I forgot to. No, those are all checked. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. No, they're not. Oh shit. Eesh. Damn. Let's go to main screen. And I'll be right back. All right, so this is what my month currently looks like. These are all of the fundeds, not including my cash account. So all my fundeds here, all PAs, and then Lucid and Tradeify fundeds. So this is not including today's trades. So I want to see what that's going to bump it up to. It's taken a long time to sync. I don't know why. But again, this is the number that, you know, we've been talking about for a while now, and that's the number. And I think that number should go up today. So my first loss was only 900 bucks, and my second win was probably 3,500, maybe 4 grand, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's see if we could resync if it does it. It still hasn't found it yet. So I'll update you guys when that comes up again. Yeah, I think that, so Rob said, good to walk away during FOMO. ATR on the 5-minute was up to 105. I think that was a really good mental reset for me. I hit a few balls down here, and I could just feel it in my bones that I was where did we stop at? Where did we stop at? All right, ES hit a daily. Nothing there. The NQ. Yeah, this is crazy. This is just crazy price action here. Actually, now that I'm looking at this band, well, this band had already been tapped into, so this, I think this was the first. No, these two bands have already been tapped into. I'm sorry. So these have already been tapped into since Sunday. This is all Monday's price action right here. Yeah. I got my bearings right. Like I said, the next weekly band on the NQ is not till the 27,796. So there is a lot of freaking room to roam for the NQ to the downside. I'm just letting you guys know that. We'll see if the ES gets any, if we get any type of support down here. Interesting. Look what we just did. Look what we just did. Exactly what we were just talking about. This was the play. I mean, obviously really tough to be taking any type of long right now, but that was the play. It was either this scenario or this scenario with a clear sweep of this low here at the 73.55. But this is the one. That's what we were kind of looking at there. Again, not much that I can really do there. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'll get something to bite on here. Let me show you something in gold so you guys can learn. This right here, again, classic. It's the classic gold move that's just been really hard to trade from. But this is the pattern that I constantly see, where we miss the band, we make a move, and then we just kind of blow through. Now it looks like we might have had a reaction there, but not enough. Not enough to make this tradable. Excuse me. I mean, you gotta have some balls right here to long that, but it was the original game plan. Old Trader, yeah, those are so they're known in different things like deep big trades. These are individual large size volume trades here. So that's what the purple is selling volume and the green is buying volume. No, All Trader. This is let me see if I can pull it up here for you. This is an indicator from, it's called a company called Steady Turtle. And the indicator costs, I think, 59 bucks or 49 bucks. Let me see here. It's $49 for one license. So you get the bubbles there. And you got a lot of different options. So you could filter by how big a volume you want to see the bubbles. You can filter it by individual orders or combined orders. I use it on individual. I want to see where the big buyer or seller orders come in from. And much nicer than the Ninja Trader. What do they call it? Fuck, I forgot now what the hell NinjaTrader calls it. Order flow. Order flow market. No. Trade detector. Order flow trade detector is what NinjaTrader has it if you have the Volume Plus subscription. But this one does not segregate. So it doesn't segregate between buy and sells. This is combined. And again, it's not a must-have, but I've actually kind of grown pretty fond of it since adding it. It does help you find areas of absorption, continuation. Like here's a really good example. This was the current day high, and you can see that. You can see you had buying pressure right up here, selling pressure down below. We then kind of obviously tanked from there. It does take a little bit of, you know, market experience to kind of interpret them. But the way I've been kind of using them in my strategy mainly is, you know, if I find areas of unbalanced volume and I've got a pretty decent bubble there, or conversely, if I get one of my flips, which is my order entry confirmation, and I get a bubble there, that just gives me even higher confluence. It's just, I think I find this easier than the bookmap bubbles. Actually a shit ton easier, but bookmap is great for finding where obviously resting limit orders are sitting at. So more of the passive buyers and sellers. Yeah, I think the majority of people think the same thing about bookmap, that it's just a little bit too busy. But it definitely has It's definitely got its uses for sure. And again, mainly what I have, how I've incorporated Bookmap into my trading is, you know, when I spot an area of unbalanced volume, which is the color shaded boxes that I've got. If they also correspond with resting limit orders, fantastic. So that's just like one added layer of confluence on one of my levels. And then when I get in there, I'm using my footprint for all of my entries. And that's kind of giving me the immediate reaction of if buyers or sellers are really stepping in there or not. But yeah, I mean, in general, if you're looking at something like this, sorry, we got a lot of stuff going on in the charts this way. The scaling's a little messed up, you know, versus something like this. You know, this is just, it's a lot more busier for me on the bubbles, you know, the aggressive buying. I mainly use it for these levels right here, you know, 7380, 7400 psychological number, 7385, and then, you know, if I jump down, where can I see? So we just had a nice reaction. This is the reaction that is actually calling out early in the morning. Again, I just didn't, very hard to take a long right here, but this was the original game plan for the morning. And the ES was, I marked this one off, put a star on there a few times, and put a big volume number here. Key level, key level, key level. We already were in a buyer unbalanced volume area right here. Gave you guys two different scenarios. One was the immediate reaction off of this. The second one was the sweep and go from there. Those were the two different possibilities. And then if I look at it on Bookmap, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even showing you guys the chart. But let's just see here. What's kind of going on here? So like the 7380s. 7380s look somewhat of a beefy level. Sorry, I was kind of explaining this move that I had called out early this morning. You know, I put a star right here on this one, and they said, you know, our first thing would be a reaction right off of this or the sweep and go. But again, very hard to do in a extremely strong downtrend. So the 80s kind of correspond to right here, right? And you can kind of, oh, I'm sorry, 80s are right through here. And you can, it's obviously corresponding with a shit ton amount of volumes coming out of there. So more than likely, we probably see a small reaction here. But we've got this bigger band here that they've got a pretty big playground here to work from. Shrink this up a little bit. All right, NQ. What to do with the NQ now? And then if we could take a look at the AVT, so we'll take a look at the 120 range, and I believe, where'd that move originate from? I don't think it was this one. This is the one I'm looking at, 940. Let's go to 940. Right here. All right. So we probably got two different areas here, but the one area that they left unbalanced was sitting right here. Okay. So that's on the 120. We see that already. We take out our fixed volume profile tool. You can already see, obviously, your value area high was sitting up here. This is all unbalanced. Got some targets here with point of control. But we switch over to the 60 and we go and find that same spot at around right here. So what I would consider to be a really nice entry would be this purple area right here. So we do this, we do reaction zone. That's purple. That would be my highest probability. Yellow's still great because yellow's the higher range, the 120. But again, if I want to take a scalp from the 30 range, and I say scalp, but we're talking about 40 points now. Now let's see how that kind of reacts here. And you can see that that's where you get your reaction from. Now I think this dipped into the yellow. So now let's look at this as an entry and let's see what we could have done here in hindsight, of course. Right there's the tap. Now, so we come into this area. You got to flip right here, so that would have been a loser right here for sure. Sorry about that noise upstairs. Now we tap into this area, which is a blend of the 120 sitting right here and the 60 sitting right here. This is a good amount of volume right here. Small flip, nothing super major, but still red footprint, positive delta. This is where I would probably take a short. Again, cover your risk at about 8 points, depending on how price action's happening. Today it's pretty crazy, so you might have not gotten that type of entry, but you might have been at 10-point stop, and you just ride that sucker down. That's it. And it just works. It just works repetitively. I don't think I said that right. Will every zone hold up? No. But again, if you're trading on a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk to reward, who cares if it? I mean, the first loss that I took, we had a strong push to the upside. Let's see if I can find that first trade it took right here. This is the first trade of the morning. So what was I looking at? Okay, I was looking at we had a very strong impulsive move to the upside. We broke structure. I found my my area of unbalanced volume. And coming into this, the downwards pressure, yeah, we had some good downwards pressure, but we're still in an uptrend here, and we hadn't broken any structure. In fact, before I took this trade, I even said if we break down through here, then we got to start, maybe readjusting and looking for shorts. But the first trade was a loss. It was a loss of 10 points. Okay. Thinking that this was going to reverse, and I did get my entry confirmation. So obviously they don't work every single time. And then we started on the dump, and I started to get FOMO. I don't know, started to get FOMO somewhere around here, for sure. Because I really wanted to get involved in the short, but stayed patient, waited for another break, found it on the 160, on the 120. So the 120 was the gold. All of this was all gold. Looked down to the 60, which is the purple. And that was where my entry was at. It was right here for 40 points. All right, my TradeZilla finally synced up, so we're all synced up for today with today's trades in there. And you can see how now this got bumped up here. Now I'm almost at a 2.71 risk to reward. That's my entire goal. Is keep taking these average 180 winners, keep the losers very low. That's the name of the game. At least for me. And in a high volatility market like this, if we can keep our stops at 10 points, it's going to make the easier markets, the markets that have ATR in the 30s, that much easier, because then the footprints are really easy to see, guys. I mean, this is very, the focus level has to be there to catch, a flip like this right here where you got negative delta, down footprint, positive delta. You got to be really quick on days like today. But on a normal day, even if it hits the initial balance, you see me all the time. I take really nice trades off of the confirmation candle with, right where I want my entry to be at. But on a day where you're at 70 to 100 ATR, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be definitely more of a challenge. And like I said from the beginning, you jump to the 60 range for your entry. That's another option. You can jump to the 60 range for an entry. Your stop's going to be bigger. It's going to be 15 points, so your risk profile is going to be a little bit stronger. Your risk to reward is not going to be as great. That's why you guys see me constantly really trying to find the 30 range entries. But some days like today, the 60 it's a great option. And actually, right now in this market condition, this is actually now, I think, a much easier, it looks like a much easier period to trade from. Even though ATR is still at 65 points. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I am done for the morning here on YouTube. Had fun with you guys today. Kind of some wacky price action, but I think we were able to do pretty good throughout the day. All right, I will see you guys here tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got some inflation news, so we'll have some. I'm pretty sure that the markets will be flying tomorrow as well. All right, guys, stay patient. And again, if you looking to get into any of the prop firms that you've got on the banner, just use code TraderRob. And please don't forget to like the video. I truly appreciate it. See you guys.